Hey, welcome to our Guerrilla Filmmaking Webinar. Sorry we're running just a few minutes late. As you can see, we're in the Howcast offices in New York. Everyone's trying to work while we talk to you guys. We are Howcast, and in case you don't know us already, we pride ourselves on making the best how-to videos on the web. We believe that how-to videos don't have to be boring, so we try to make the most creative, most engaging, most fun how-to videos. And we work with filmmakers from all over the world, including these guys. Hi.
Hi, everybody. I'm Darlene. I'm the Vice President of Production here at Howcast Media. A little background on us. We're just about 2 years old. We're an instructional video website, and we work with wonderful filmmakers, again, from all over the world. Our filmmakers work in lots of different mediums. Some are great live action shooters. Some use After Effects. Some use stop motion. Some claymation. It's limitless. I always say you give one person a how-to, you can make it countless number of ways. I've been working in the film industry for about 10 years, maybe a little bit longer now, but who's counting? I started in independent film, indie movies, and then moved on to TV, commercials, all that good stuff. And I'm the one who, with Heather, watches pretty much every single Howcast video.
I run Howcast's Emerging Filmmakers Program, and in the program we work with filmmakers who are sort of up and coming. They're students, they're recent grads, and they are able to pick topics from our website, and they make their videos. You know, they could be in Italy, they could be in Ireland, they could be in South Dakota. They upload them, and then they go live on Howcast, as well as on our distribution network. Before I made it to Howcast, I produced, shot, and edited all kinds of stuff, award-winning shorts, corporate video, an Aerosmith documentary, but my favorite job of all was teaching high school kids editing. It's probably why I ended up running the program. We've got some of our most innovative filmmakers here today, and they're going to talk about how to make the most creative videos on the least amount of money.
First, a little introduction. First, we're going to meet Jenna and Trip Watt, these two lovely people. They are not brother and sister. They are, in fact, married, but they've known each other for quite some time. They are going to be sharing tips today with us on production design. I don't know if you guys have seen any of their videos, but they are high on creativity. A lot of them really remind me a lot of Michel Gondry. They're really crafty and cool, and they use something as ordinary as a cotton ball and make it magical. They met in high school in Nashville, and Tripp spent his childhood fascinated with gadgets and trash compactors, as I'm sure many of you did. And Jenna grew up in South Africa and somehow ended up in Nashville. Nashville, which we're still figuring that out. These two didn't need art school. They dropped out of art school and packed their car and headed to New York City. And now both of them work as freelance directors and animators, and together they run a wonderful company called Fantasmic, New York City.
We've got Michael Sanchez. Yay. He has directed more than 100 Howcast videos, almost all of which he's started. He's going to be talking about casting and directing non-actors. He's a filmmaker, songwriter, and stand-up comedian living in Chicago. He studied improv at the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater in New York City and recently opened for Tracy Morgan, which is huge. In addition to writing and directing a number of award-winning comedic shorts, Michael's currently in post-production on his first feature. He's seen kissing in Howcast's most watched video on YouTube, which is How to Kiss with Passion. And when Howcast was featured in a Nightline piece, Michael's face was plastered all over national television.
And here we have Keith Hayward. Keith came down from Rhode Island today to share his Guerrilla stop-motion animation skills. He has been doing a lot of shooting and editing recently for Brown, and he's also been working for their local public libraries, creating some very cool short videos about their really old, rare collections of books. He has made over 50 Howcast videos in the Emerging Filmmaker Program and recently took home first prize whoop, whoop, in our first ever contest. He did a great video, which you're going to see a clip of shortly, called How to Make Olive Bread. Again, Howcast, we take the normal and make it extraordinary, and you'll see why shortly. He also has been entering a lot of contests, online video contests, and recently won the grand prize in the DV Video Challenge.
Okay, guys, so we're going to look at some clips of your videos, and then you're going to tell us some secrets about making great video. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
How to cope with cell phone withdrawal. We all know it's unsafe to text or phone while driving, but what to do when faced with the powerful symptoms of cell phone withdrawal? Step 1. Be aware of PDA, Power Down Anxiety. You love your phone, and you hate the thought of shutting it down or ignoring it. The solution? Create a cozy glove compartment bed. Now, you're not shunning your phone, you're just letting it get some much-needed quiet time. It's such an angel when it's sleeping. Take that, PDA.
An awesome clip, obviously. So Trip and Jenna, for both of you, you had to show someone driving. A lot of people would probably just think, oh, I'll just go borrow my mom's Honda, run out to, you know, the corner parking lot and film it like that. But you guys took it in a whole new creative direction. You guys always kind of think, I think, really outside the box, which is really amazing. And again, you take the ordinary and make it extraordinary. So my question is, why do you guys approach videos this way? Why not just shoot like an average video in a car?
I guess, you know, it was kind of like a pretty like basic topic, and you know, it could have, I guess, revolved around you know, shooting in like a regular car, like you said. But yeah, I guess we thought of like taking the actual like context and subject and putting it in like a different sort of world, really, so that it kind of like just even the basic of it is a little more interesting than I guess what you normally see. It also enabled us to kind of like build a world just surrounding the car. So I guess that kind of excited us about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had you guys ever done anything like that before?
I guess that's what we mostly do, I guess.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So.
Yeah, we do a lot of like stop motion animation and sets, so I guess it came kind of easier for us for that video in turn.
And
yeah.
you guys, I know, used After Effects in post, because we just had that car here in the office, and it looked a little bit like that, but you really zhuzhed it up. You kind of took like a Toyota and you kind of made it like a Lamborghini. Can you tell me a little bit about the process of kind of taking your crafty things and making them even more spectacular?
Yeah, we came up with the idea to make the car, and it was this big idea, but we kind of broke it down into just planning it out from the beginning. Just from sketching the car out and then cutting it out of the cardboard and putting it together was kind of the first step. But then, yeah, actually getting into After Effects and touching it up to look a little bit better than just kind of a piece of cardboard that's falling apart. Kind of ends up being a longer process.
And then how much background do you guys have in After Effects? Were you guys like experts? Have you guys been using it for a really long time? Because that looked very impressive, I thought.
That was our first time using After Effects, was for that.
Yeah.
So you guys had never used it, never taken a class?
We actually, for that video, went to Barnes & Noble and purchased a book on After Effects and taught ourselves the process as we were doing it.
Yeah, for that video.
Was
forcing
it as hard
ourselves.
as you thought it would be?
It's actually really...
Yeah, it's
easy
really fluid and
yeah.
very easy. Yeah, and like forcing ourselves to actually just work with it and learn it. I think we learned it 30 times faster than we would have if we just kind of went step by step and tried to teach it to ourselves on our own time.
I was going to say that I work with a lot of filmmakers who work with After Effects, and very few of them really learn how to use them in class. Most people, I think, have most success just teaching it to themselves. So anyone who's interested in using it out there, I would definitely get yourself a copy, and if you can, get a project from a friend that's already built out, deconstruct it, and then reconstruct it again. It's a great way to learn it, and if you really want to do it, you kind of got to teach it to yourself. So it looks like, I mean, all you guys need to make a great video is a lot of imagination and creativity.
Yes.
Yeah, and I guess just a quick note, we for some of the supplies, I mean, always hold on to your old props. If you have boxes or just like drawers you can shove stuff in, it's better just to hold on to all the old stuff.
We have a room full of stuff that we always go back to using.
Yeah.
So your apartment's like a prop house. You never know what you're going to need again.
Yeah. We shop at a lot of garage sales.
Can I come over?
I have a quick question for you guys. You were saying earlier that you are actually not super duper crafty, like there's like paper and cardboard and all this stuff, but that you draw everything out and that sort of helps you get started.
I guess we're not very creative like with drawing and everything, so we draw something very simple and then we use our thank you. We use I guess then we can take it into the creative field and then use the paper and everything like that. But the drawings, we're not very good at drawing, so.
Thank you, guys.
No problem.
All right, Michael, next up. I took a count of your 100 videos that you made for us, and 93 of them are starring you, including this one where you are seen making out again. This is how to make your first kiss memorable.
How to make your first kiss memorable. Step 3. Once you're fairly certain that your kiss will be welcomed, just do it. There's nothing that ruins a romantic moment more than a wimpy, "May I kiss you?"
I think that you look great, and whoever you cast in your videos always looks great. And I think that finding actors and being able to pay them is really one of the biggest hurdles to making great videos when you're maybe not living in a major city and you also don't have a big budget. So I'm wondering first if you can tell us what some of your tips are for casting your friends and family. How do you decide who to pick?
Well, even depending on the project, like sometimes I'll cast people off of Craigslist. You can usually find people like non-actors who are interested in acting, and they'll do it for free on Craigslist. You just kind of have to sift through and maybe audition a few people to see like who can actually act. I'm actually pretty lazy when it comes to casting, and that's why I'm in so many videos because I'd rather, just act in it myself or get like, a girlfriend or another friend who lives like super close by than have to like actually cast and do all that stuff. Yeah.
Do you have any tips for auditioning people?
Yeah, I find that with there's been some mistakes that I've had. I've thought people would be like a really good actor, and then I get them in front of the camera, and the second the camera turns on, they like freeze up and they're like a terrible actor, Mm-hmm. So I find put them in front of a camera, turn it on, maybe have them even go through some emotions like anger, happy, just to see if they can actually act.
And is there anything about what they look like that you're looking for? Anything special?
Not really. I tend to go for, I don't know. I usually go for like young, hip, 20-something type.
I feel like your
types.
people, maybe it's just you have great facial expressions and can really like, go from happy to sad to confused to,
right.
Despondent.
Well, I know a lot of comics too. I know a lot of comedians in Chicago, so they're always pretty like animated and pretty self-aware when it comes to emoting.
Got it.
So.
Where do you hold auditions if you do have to invite some people from Craigslist?
Well, if you don't want to be too creepy and invite them back to your house, which has happened and it can be creepy. Usually I'll just invite someone to like a coffee shop. I'll like find out where they live, and then we'll choose like an in-between point and just meet at a coffee shop. And I might have them just read whatever they're going to be acting. For Howcast videos, there's never any speaking parts. So I really have to be smarter about that and just have them like go through emotions. Or I also find that if you can act as a director, like that's also good, because you can say, well, this is what I'm going for, and then you can be like, or whatever. Because a lot of times, like, it is hard to translate what it is that you want from them. So if you can show them and they can kind of mimic you or do their own interpretation of that, then it still might work.
Right. That must be a really great way to deal with people who don't have a lot of acting experience. Yeah. So you sort of mimic what you want them to do.
I also find that it's really important to make non-actors especially feel comfortable on set. Like that's really pertinent, because if they're uncomfortable, they're going to be stiff and they're not going to give you what you want. So yeah, I do whatever I can as a director to make sure that they're at ease and they feel comfortable with whatever they're doing.
Right. How about when you're the star? I cannot imagine how you're starring in the videos, you're directing them, and you're shooting them too. So tell us the secrets for that.
Again, me starring in so many videos just came out of laziness, but it turns out that being in so many videos is also difficult in itself. It's just that I'd rather waste my own time than like some actors' time. Basically I'll just set my camera up. I'll get the shot, ready how I want. I'll set the camera up, and then I have a remote for the camera. So, I'll get everything ready, hit record, and then I'll go through the motions like a bunch of times until I think one of those takes will be good, and then I stop. And if I want like a really high budget looking shot and I want the camera to like zoom in, I'll do other things, like I'll stick a clothespin on the zoom button on the remote and then just like hide it really quick and then go through it while the camera is zooming in. There's like a bunch of like stupid tricks.
I've always wondered how you did that.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Yeah, really cool. All right, thank you.
Sure.
Keith, we have questions for you. We're about to watch the video that won you $2,000 from Howcast in the How To Video Challenge. It was a stop-motion animation, and it was only your second, which I think is pretty amazing. So let's watch this. It's called How to Bake Olive Bread. How to Make Olive Bread.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Oliver, and tonight I'm going to show you how to make a delicious loaf of olive bread using your very own sourdough starter. Flatten the dough out on a floured surface and fold in a cup of lightly chopped Kalamata olives. Divide the dough and shape them into 2 smooth round loaves. Whew, that is hot.
I love when all the olives come running in. So when we asked you, once you won, we called you, we were so excited, and then we asked you, tell us some stories about the making of the video because we want to be able to talk about your experience. And you said that you shot it and you did the whole thing yourself in one weekend over the 4th of July, and you were totally by yourself. And I thought that was just so inspiring because it made me think, hey, I can probably do this. I've never made a stop motion animation. So we want to know all your secrets. First, what's your animation background?
I don't have too much animation background. For stop motion, my girlfriend, who's also a videographer and kind of got me involved in videography and animation stuff, she loves making stop motion while we cook. So she really likes, especially stop motion of beets in particular, and other root vegetables. They look really cute in stop motion.
She's right, they are cute.
And so she would always do that, and she taught me After Effects, the basics, and also Final Cut. And we did another contest where we made a similar thing, but it was kind of a music video, but making a cake, like a birthday cake. And it's really painstaking but fun. So that's really all the animation background.
That's awesome. So step 1, get a really talented girlfriend.
Exactly.
So what do you need to produce a short video like this on a budget, by yourself?
First and foremost, the camera. For stop motion, it's great to have a still camera, like a digital SLR, a digital still camera, and a tripod to make sure the camera doesn't move because it's going to be sitting there for a long time, and lights and a lot of time and patience because it's you're taking a still frame for every frame, so that video is a few thousand.
I have a question. Do you use any special programs? Because I know there are some stop motion programs that they go right to the computer.
Yeah.
That I've seen people use.
For this, I wish I had that program when I did this.
Sure.
Especially if you're by yourself, you can one thing that makes stop motion good is that every shot, the background, nothing changes, so lights and stuff. So you want to be in the same place while you shoot it, or you may make a shadow and you'll get flickering shadows. So they have programs like iStop Motion or Dragon Stop Motion, which is probably the best. And that way you can just hook it to your computer. You can see what the previous shot was overlaid with your the shot you're going to take, and that makes things, I have that now, and that makes things a lot easier, but you can still do with just the camera, tripod, and
How long did that video take you to make?
Hours or days?
Yeah, well, like days.
It was over 4th of July weekend, so, and it was, 2 days of maybe 10 to 12 hours of pushing photo on my camera. So
it was worth it.
Yeah, I guess so.
No doubt.
Speaking of budget, how much money did you spend making it?
I mean, not including what I already had as far as a camera and
Right.
stuff. Nothing. Flour, water.
How did the bread taste?
The bread was not good, actually. It's a good recipe. It was like a simplified version because, you know, but it'd been like sitting in front of really hot lights for 20 hours. And it,
So not the recommended way to really
Yeah.
make olive bread with stop motion photography.
You're supposed to let the dough rise for several hours, and you knead it and let it rise again. I was trying to get like a time lapse of it rising, but the lights just I think it was so hot that it was just killing the yeast. So I like sat there like, you know, for 5 hours with the camera, like taking shots every few minutes, and then it didn't rise. It actually like went down. And so I had to like scrap that and make another loaf. And
You're a super patient person. You must be.
Wow, very zen.
So other than that, the lights ruining the bread, what were some other obstacles that you ran into?
well, I was house sitting for a friend and dog sitting her new puppy, so it wasn't really potty trained, so it was difficult doing everything, and then every hour or so having to walk the dog or take it to the park or clean up after the pee on the floor. And then that was a big obstacle, but it's a really cute dog, so it was kind of worth it. I tried actually incorporating the dog into it, where it was like an olive falls on the ground, the dog comes in, and I'd like stop motion the olive and then put the other side of the screen, the dog chasing after it, but it didn't work.
The dog wouldn't cooperate.
No.
You know the rules, no dogs, no children. You know, didn't you get the memo?
Right. So I feel like I would have come back from walking the dog, or even just sort of you get, I think, Google-eyed and you're like, or googly-eyed, and you forget where things were. Did you tape everything? I mean, do you have to sort of tape the tripod legs or tape the props, or how do you remember?
Prior to everything, I did a lot of planning as far as figuring out what shots I wanted, and I put out just it on Final Cut to figure out how many frames each shot would be. So then I could figure out, okay, I want it to move this far. I would mark off where I want it to start, where I want it to end, and I would, calculate, okay, 1 centimeter per frame. I'd move the thing, and then I'd do that. But being just me, I would forget count, and so it didn't always work out perfectly. But then for the tripod, I usually put tape on the ground. But it's really just a little bit of movement. You can see that. So, in After Effects afterwards, I had to reshape things a little bit. So.
Got it. Okay. So you must have learned a ton if that was only your second animation. Can you give us some secrets that maybe we wouldn't know if we've never done this before?
Plan out everything beforehand is a good thing that I learned. Even though I planned out a lot, I could have planned out a lot more, because even though taking a still frame for every shot takes a long time, it takes just as long as or longer to edit it. So if you make a mistake, you have your hand, I'd get tired and I'm hot and sweaty from the lights, and I'm just don't want to prop something up, so I just hold my hand and I'm I'm gonna just Photoshop my hand out afterwards, and then that takes a lot longer per frame than just doing it right the first time.
That whole theory, we'll fix it in post, post. I hate that.
Yeah.
It's not true. It doesn't work. I was just talking with one of our interns the other day, and she was talking about, now she's a production assistant. Woo! But she was talking about working on a video where they didn't want a white balance. They were like, oh, we'll fix it in post. But it'll take hours to do that. So we don't advise that.
It'll just take, a few seconds to push the
do
white
it
balance.
then.
Work smarter, not harder.
There you go.
For sure.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Keith.
Okay, guys. Well, we are just about to be ready to take questions from our live stream viewers for our filmmakers. But right before we do that, we wanted to know if you guys had any filmmaking secrets, any other secrets you wanted to share with everybody that you could think of.
I guess the one that we had was just in terms of compositing and green screening, working with animation and live action. Just it's, you know, so many people try to make things look real, but I mean, really the best thing you can do is make it look good. You know, it's not all about making everything look realistic, because movies aren't even about being real. It's about just looking really, really good. So if you have to throw a fake fan on somebody to just get their hair blowing, even though there'd probably be no wind, but if that motion makes it look, you know, more vivid, then go for it. That's great.
That's a great tip. It's true. Movies are not real, and and they often have a lot of beautiful cheats. So I like that a lot.
To kind of go along with Tripp's comment, like I didn't do green screen for the longest time because I thought it would be like super difficult, and it turns out that it's not at all. Like after just a little bit of research and looking at a few videos online, I found that I could just go to like a thrift store, like a secondhand store, and I bought just a huge like bed sheet, like a green bed sheet, and then I went to like just any Home Depot and just get a bunch of lights. And I mean, you kind of have to mess with it and figure out a nice way to make everything work, but with a little experimentation, you can really have a cool green screen at home for like cheap.
That's what you're using, and I mean, you've been doing green screen actually more and more in your Howcast spots. Is that what you're using?
Yeah, I'm using just a bed sheet. It's like tacked to my wall, like
and Home Depot lights.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah,
that's all you need.
That's awesome.
Really great. Who knew that Home Depot was really your local filmmaking resource?
Oh
totally, yeah.
Keith, do you have any tips? Or are you tipped out?
I think just to, you know, make as many videos as possible. If you don't think you have enough money to do a shot, say you want camera movement, just like try to make a dolly. Look online for like a do-it-yourself dolly thing, or just find a nice smooth surface and put it on a mat and push it. You know, just try things, and you may find that it works for getting that, like, you know, adding a little bit extra to.
That's cool. So just be creative with your filmmaking and try to think outside the box. You know, it doesn't always have to be what you're taught in school or what you read in books. You can figure it out and come up with really cool ideas. We had someone create a dolly right out of that mag liner. They put the tripod on the mag liner, rolling it around. I'm like, that is brilliant. Like, nothing gets me more excited when I see filmmaking hacks and people do amazing stuff like that.
I have a question actually for you guys that I'm curious about. Do you all have like professional lighting kits, or do you just sort of use Home Depot stuff?
We actually have a professional lighting kit now. Thank you. But beforehand, we just got it maybe this year or something, but beforehand we used all, I guess,
like desk lamps. We would just duct tape, like actual lamps, like lamp shades, would like duct tape them to the wall and stuff. But yeah, we just have like a starting lull kit. It was pretty inexpensive and has, you know, kind of everything you need. So I mean, that's great for like live action. But you know, if you're just doing like animation and stuff, you really don't even need, you know, a 1K light, because all you really need is like a little 60-watt light, and it's the same thing. So yeah, but I mean, lighting is really important. So. But if you do just kind of go to Home Depot and kind of get it all sorted out, then it can look just as good, as long as you're kind of smart and test around with what you're doing.
What do you guys use?
I use a lot of natural light. Like I do a lot of cooking videos, and usually in my kitchen I'll just open all the shades and get as much light in it as I can. And I use a lot of like reflecting boards as well. But I don't have a pro light kit at all. I have some Home Depot lights. Yeah, and just reflecting a lot. That's basically.
Have you guys ever not lit enough? And like,
oh heavens, yes.
That's my biggest pet peeve, is when I'm watching a video and it's not lit correctly. Like, just turn on every light in your house and like go to your neighbors, borrow their lamps. Like, if you don't light, like your video goes down in quality, I think, so much, and it's a shame because it's an easy fix. I mean, you know, Thomas Edison, thank you. We all got it at home. Like, it's so. Yeah, that's cool. What, Keith, do you have a professional lighting kit?
When I first started, I didn't. Or I kind of did. My girlfriend kind of.
Talented,
the first few videos
equipped
for Howcast,
girlfriend.
which Howcast was like my first videos ever making money, kind of. And my girlfriend supplied the camera and tripod.
I love your girlfriend. She sounds really cool.
And then I was like, oh, you know, I can make a little money doing this. So I started buying stuff, but now I do a lot of interview things for like Brown University and stuff like that. So now I have a professional looking setup, just, you know, to appease other people.
Yeah, you don't want to show up at like you're doing an interview and have like a lamp.
Yeah, yeah.
Here you go. Can you stand?
But typically for the Howcast videos, I still, you know, try to use natural lighting or reflectors, because it's just, if you can do that, it's so much quick and easier.
I just want to say a quick note on like a lighting kit. They'll annihilate your power bill if you're paying your own utilities. If you have 2,000 watts of lights pumping away for 11 hours, I think we use the most power in our entire apartment building. So yeah, that's something to look out for.
Impressive.
Wow.
Well, it's
You can get compact fluorescent lights, you know, that last forever, that are equivalent to a 500 watt, you know, incandescent light.
Right.
And it's just like, you know, 100 and so watts that it actually uses. So you can plug it into a household bulb and it's super bright.
Yeah,
That's
highly
awesome.
recommend Kino flows.
Yeah. Like those.
Good tip for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love, I mean, I think like a lot of filmmakers maybe underlight because they don't realize that these are the kinds of workarounds they can use. So I think that that's really promising, that you don't at all need a professional lighting.
Yeah, you can totally hack it at home yourself. You just have to be smart about it.
So we're getting some questions, and we collected some questions on YouTube a couple of days ago. Everyone seems to, a question that keeps coming up is everyone wants to know what editing program you guys all use.
Yeah, we use Final Cut. Final Cut.
Yeah, Final Cut and After Effects, I think, are the two best programs to know.
I agree.
Yeah, I think everyone's
Cut,
going
yeah.
to agree.
I agree too. That's our favorite. If everyone could just edit on Final Cut, I would be very happy.
Right.
It's what the industry is changing to.
Yeah,
in any case, everyone's
definitely.
Yeah.
Industry standard.
I should say that a lot of the filmmakers in our Emerging Filmmakers Program might use Premiere. They use Sony Vegas. They use Final Cut Express. Some of them use Avid. And so I think those programs are certainly still somewhat on a professional level, for sure, if not professional level. So although Final Cut is the standard, and I do actually think that it's easier to use because of all the tools that it offers, those other programs are pretty fantastic as well. What about Express? I mean, that's so much cheaper. I think the only limitation is just that it really doesn't allow for as many like exporting capabilities, right? But it's pretty solid.
Yeah, I think also just whatever you can get your hands on to edit is perfect. I mean, if you can only start off, I bought a FireWire card that came with an editing program in like 1999 and edited for 3 years on it. It had like one video track and one audio track, so you'd have to keep on exporting and pulling back in to add new effects. So whatever you can start off on, just keep making stuff and then kind of build up as you go along. But Final Cut is definitely, I mean, the best you could probably get into. So
That's good to know. And so that's a trick, because we have that problem too, where our graphics require, you multiple video tracks, so you would export and then re-import it in. Cool, very cool. Okay, so there's a few more questions. A lot of people are asking, does this advice only pertain to short-form videos? Or, can you tell us about some of your longer-form projects and how maybe these sort of tricks relate or help you with those?
I would actually just say that they would be exactly the same, just in a larger scale. I mean, obviously you're looking at more time and more actors and more commitment in general, but for the most part, all these tricks can be done on a larger scale, for sure.
Yeah, I'd say the most important thing about larger scale things is just being, what Keith said, really organized. You need to have every single thing planned out. You want to be efficient, and you want to have it thought out, and you just want to have a really, really solid game plan. But as long as you got plenty of lights, you should be good.
I'd like to actually, there's been a lot of talk about lights, but I feel like people forget about audio as well. Like, I see so many films, like short films, with that like look fantastic and maybe are written really well with great acting, but they have terrible audio.
Yeah, nothing worse.
Yeah, and I feel like
actually maybe a bad picture is worse than bad audio. I don't know.
I mean, it's weird to talk about it within the Howcast circles because we don't really use audio. Like, there's narration on the films, but I find when I'm shooting stuff, in my like personal projects, I came through film through like music and recording music and stuff. So to me, audio is like super important, and I feel like there's just not enough emphasis on it. And if I could recommend anything to like new starting out filmmakers or even old hands is get like a lapel mic. I mean, that's like the easiest possible thing you can do. I have a lapel mic that I use, and they're totally easy to hide. Like, you can hide it inside a shirt, you can hide it in a hat, like wherever. Mine happens to have a 25-foot cable, so I can't go any further than 25 feet. But I get great sound on it. Like, it couldn't be any better. And it's definitely better than the mic on the camera, you know, which is fine if you're totally desperate. But again, like, I feel like I've read something somewhere where 75% of our movie viewing experience is audio, and only 25% of it is actually like visual. And like this same book went on to explain that if you were to watch a movie with really crappy sound, you'd pay less attention than to a movie that looks bad but sounds really good. So I don't know, just something to think about for young filmmakers.
That's an excellent tip. Yeah, I think it's totally overlooked. And I always say, like, I watch a lot of YouTube videos, and just that's the one thing, the biggest discrepancy I think is the audio. If it's really echoey or it's crinkly or you just can't hear anyone well, it's a fatal flaw.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any way to get better audio from your on-camera mic?
Get as close as possible. I mean, of course, the further away you get, the less sound, the more echo you're going to get. So before I had the lapel mic, like whenever I had to shoot like an actor, I would get as close as I possibly could without it being like too awkward. That's really it, I think.
But you have to. Do you guys all own your own mics now?
Yeah, we have a lapel as well, a wireless lapel, and we have a shotgun mic that we use. Yeah, we always try to stay away from audio unless we have somebody to like do it for us, because it's a different world and I'm not very good with it.
It is an art form in and of itself.
Maybe that's good advice also, is find someone who's really good at it. You know, you don't have to do everything by yourself. Like, reach out and find different resources. Like, if you're the filmmaker and you have a friend who's really into sound, you know, let them show their stuff. It's filmmaking is a collaborative effort, and I think sometimes people try to do everything themselves, which is great, but at the same time, you know, you play to people's strengths.
Yeah, I also have a lot of mics. It's kind of a big collection.
Are they all your girlfriends?
Most of them. Or now it's even. It's even now. But we do a lot of documentary stuff and interviews and promotional videos, and for that, it's good to have a good arsenal of like wireless mics or just a wired. We have a wireless mic, but then we have a wired mic because that's a little bit better for sit-down interviews, and then shotgun mics. And
do you have any advice for, like, when you're doing interviews, how to get people always say I talk too fast, I don't know why, or maybe I mumble my words. Do you have any advice for when you're doing interviews and how to get like actors or performers to have better diction, perhaps?
Oh, I don't. I obviously have poor diction, so it's hard to, you know, relate, or it's easy to relate to those people, but I don't know what, you know, that I liked when I interviewed to speak with them for a while beforehand, so that they feel comfortable, and
so maybe just rehearsing a lot and like making sure people know what they're going to say. Not
necessarily like asking them the same questions, but let the camera roll, ask them questions that may not even be related, and so they feel comfortable, so they're having a conversation. I feel like when people get nervous, they speak faster and faster. And, yeah.
That's good advice.
We have a bunch more questions coming in. Just really quickly, where did you guys get your lapel mics, or do you have any suggested places?
Amazon is great. We've bought most of our equipment on Amazon.
Oh, wow. That's great to know.
Yeah, Amazon and B&H Photo is two great places. Yeah.
We bought everything online, so.
Yeah, we buy all of our stuff online. I don't think I've purchased any equipment from stores, just because it tends to be a little bit more overpriced.
Right.
Yeah, and you can read, just do a lot of research before buying anything. So that's probably my biggest bit of advice on that.
Yeah. I'm very into used equipment. Yeah. So for a lavalier mic, you can get it pretty cheap, used, and a lot of times you get them without a plug, so it's just unwired, and and they're, you know, even cheaper if you get them like that. And it's, you know, you can look up a wiring, you know, how to act. I don't know if anyone solders or not, but then you can just solder the mic clip, and that cuts down the price as well.
That's smart. That's really smart.
Yeah.
That's next thing for Howcast. We're going to start buying secondhand equipment. I'm making post departments start soldering. Watch out, guys.
Where do you get them on eBay or
eBay?
Craigslist?
Yeah. I mean, I just recently bought, you know, a Sennheiser MK2E, which is I don't know, like $300, and I got it on eBay for $80.
Oh, it's awesome.
And it works perfectly. It took like, you know, many hours of me trying to figure out how to like wire it and stuff like that, but it was a great deal.
That's fantastic. It's great. There are a few questions coming in about PC software, and I just want to reiterate, if you're looking for good PC video editing software, Sony Vegas and Premiere, we recommend, and we've got lots of filmmakers who use them.
Those are pretty much the industry the standards, I'd say, for a PC.
A few people are asking about your YouTube channels and how you guys use them, or how you guys might use the web to promote your work. And, you know, do you think that the name of your YouTube channel or how it looks, does that help you sort of get views and get popular? You know, how much are you guys out there sort of promoting yourselves on the web?
I always I feel like tags are really important. I mean, if you're looking for like more views, I always try to put like nude women in my tags. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, unless there's nude women in the I try to put as many different things in the tag that are like pertinent to it, or even things that like loosely apply. Like if I put up a music video, maybe if it's like even remotely similar to like another band that's really popular, I might put that band in the tag. And I also like I tend to repeat post videos. Like I have stuff up on YouTube, I have stuff up on Vimeo, Facebook, just wherever you can put videos up for more exposure, and then always have like links back to your own website or whatever.
Right. And your Howcast channel and
yeah.
Anyone else want to weigh in on how they use the web?
Pretty much agree.
Someone was asking about, I don't know who mentioned this, but some sort of green screen software. Is there a green screen software, or was it the stop motion software?
Stop motion software, I think that probably the best is Dragon Stop Motion. I think it's like under $200. So compared to Final Cut or After Effects, you know, Adobe, it's pretty cheap. But there's also iStop Motion and lots of really basic ones that you can get.
And how do they help? I mean, I've never used one.
So you set up if you have a compatible camera for Dragon, you would set up your camera, you have it hooked to your computer, you take a picture, then it's called an onion effect. It'll kind of drop the opacity on the last picture that you took, so you can actually match it up perfectly with the picture you're going to take. And then it's just set up so that you can quickly view it at, you know, full frame, the video preview, or slower. You can also shoot a video and overlay the video so you know how to match it. But that all requires like a compatible camera for that.
Do you guys use that?
No.
Actually, no. We're looking into it still.
So we're wanting to get.
Yeah. And if anyone, I guess, did have a question about a green screen program, the best one. I mean, we've green screened just in like Final Cut for a really long time, but like the best thing to use is a Keylight, which is a plugin for After Effects. It's really easy to use. You can actually, I learned how to use it. You can actually just go to YouTube and type in Keylight and learn it in 5 minutes. And it works wonders. It actually won like a Technical Academy Award for being such a great plugin. They used it in like Harry Potter and stuff, so it's a fantastic plugin.
What does that do?
It's just for green screening, and I mean you can actually key out any color you want. You know, green, purple, and yeah, it's like real time and just really easy to use.
Do you guys have any tips for people about how to shoot green screen, like do's and don'ts?
I mean, definitely the farther you can get away from the green screen is the better. I think that's like the number one.
I mean, the camera or the person?
Oh, like, yeah, the person, yeah.
What happens if the person's close to the green screen?
You know, you'll deal with like green spill on the, because you know, not only do you want to like look out for like shadows and everything on the green screen, but you want to look out for the green screen bouncing onto your subject, which is just as bad. And also just like, it's so much more important, like, you know, you may like feel kind of rushed or whatever to sort of like just shoot something how the lights are, but if you just take the time to really compose your shot on the green screen to make it work really well, you'll spend so much less time in post.
I'm curious because I mean, I'm not obsessed with green screen, but I watch a lot of it, and I just wonder, like, since you guys don't really have like, especially Michael, you don't even have like really professional lights. Like, do you find it hard to light green screen? I feel like everyone's like, you have to light it with Kinos, and you have to light the back perfectly and then the front perfectly, or you're going to be keying up people for, you know, freaking weeks, and it's miserable. Like,
there's definitely like little tricks that I have to do. I mean, I really only have 2 lights at home, so I have.
You must have a very dark apartment.
It's pretty dark, but I have like the way that everything's set up is I have one light that shines on the green screen, and then I have a light that is on me, but then on the other side of me I have like a reflective board to light my other side. And it's taken me a while to really like work the bugs out of like me doing that, but I've got it down now.
And I guess just trial and error. Once you just do it enough times and you keep like looking back, eventually you got your lights set up, and
yeah,
and then your green screen's good
I
to
do
go.
wish I had like a bigger room so that I could get further away from the green screen.
Yeah.
And I do wish I had like a bigger green screen, because I can only get so far away before I have to like crop stuff.
Got it.
I don't know.
Now I know what to get you for Christmas.
Lots of folks want to know what cameras you guys use and what cameras you could maybe recommend for on a budget.
We use it's a Sony V1U. It's I guess, I mean, like the best camera you could, I guess, possibly get would be something that shoots 24 frames progressive, and, you know, at least 720p. But really, I mean, I guess the industry is all going towards high definition, so I mean, you don't have to get a really expensive camera. People will argue that, you know, this camera is better than this camera, and it'll be like a $3,000 difference. But really, I mean, if your video is going to end up on a website or, you know, compressed on YouTube or something, it really doesn't really matter too much. You might as well just, you know, save your money and put it towards making a movie. Yeah, so I guess something on the lower end of just something that shoots 24p. And
You guys shoot HD?
Yeah, we shoot HD.
How much?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, we also, for a while we used, I guess you did as well, like the camera for stop motion. We just had, you know, just our film camera, and we pushed the photo button. Yeah. So we didn't have an SLR for a long time. Now we do, but we didn't for a while, so you can also use that. So,
how much is the HD camera that you mentioned, Trip? Approximately.
I guess we bought it like a year and a half, 2 years ago, and it was $3,400. So I'm sure it's probably gone down now. It's like not even the. I think it came out with like a new one. So
right.
I know also like there's a lot of SLR still cameras that shoot video that actually shoot better video than like our video cameras,
right.
and are cheaper. And then you could use those for stop motion as well.
People are obsessed with those now.
They're
I hear
amazing.
Great
Yeah.
things
The
about
depth
them.
of field is phenomenal.
And
you
the
can
lenses
switch out the
are
lenses,
so
and they're
amazing.
small.
Yeah, so compatible, right? You can kind of take it anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michael, what do you use? Because I think it's way more affordable than that.
Yeah, I have 2 cameras. The old one I used to use is a Canon GL2, and if you watch a lot of my Howcast videos, the ones that aren't HD, like the square ones, are the old Canon. And then I just got a Canon Vixia HF10, which is an HD camera, and I think it's like maybe like $600 to $800 for that. And that camera is awesome. Like when I first got it out of the box, I was trying to figure out where the tape went, and it doesn't take a tape. Like I
Still use tape.
it's a hard drive
It's
camera.
broken. There's no place for the tape.
It's really awesome. It shoots, I think, somewhere between 4 and 6 hours like on the camera, which is
in HD.
crazy. Yeah, it's in HD, and it's awesome. Like not having to use tapes.
And how much was it? I'm sorry, did you say?
Between like 6 and 8, I think.
Oh, very
Yeah.
affordable.
Yeah. it's an awesome
Super
camera.
affordable, and I mean, I think your footage looks amazing. If you compare it, if you go to Howcast or your YouTube channel and you compare it side by side with anybody else's HD that they're shooting with like an HVX or something, it looks fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't think you would know.
Yeah, and
No,
I don't use anything like I've been thinking about getting like a wide angle lens for it. I don't have one, and it still like gets great footage. I mean, you do sort of like on my GL2, I do miss being able to like have manual focus right on the lens. So there is a few things, but you can't beat it really.
Someday.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because some of our filmmakers have been shooting with the red camera, and which everyone, you know, talks about, ooh, the red camera, they love it. But the thing about that camera is if you don't light it correctly, like I feel if you don't have a crew and like expensive lights and people really thinking about it and being really technical, the footage looks not so hot. Especially compared to just some of these smaller, you know, run and gun cameras that are just so much easier to use. So sometimes more expensive is not always better.
And one thing that we tell a lot of our emerging filmmakers too is like if you have your camera on a tripod or something steady and you have a lot of lights, most cameras can be made to look great.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really more about lighting and keeping your shot steady than
and knowing your
else.
camera as well.
Yeah.
Like knowing how to manually control everything is incredibly important.
And your settings and obviously
That's
like thinking white balance, you know, little things, just paying attention and like setting it up in advance correctly.
Right. Let's see. Really quickly, is 720 enough for YouTube or is 1080 preferred? I mean, I think 720 is
it's still
fine.
Yeah,
for sure. As for anything online, 720 should be plenty. I mean, when we request our videos and we distribute, you know, on YouTube and on Howcast and on lots of other platforms, we only ask for 720. So I think 1080, maybe if you're going to blow it up and one day be in a movie theater.
Darlene just touched on something that I wanted to add to before when we were asking you guys about your YouTube channels is that, you know, Howcast is really all really into distribution. We're all over the web. We're on video on demand platforms. We're on cell phones. And if you're really interested in getting your work out there, I think that we certainly prescribe, you know, the same, like Michael was saying, he's on Vimeo, he's on Howcast, he's on YouTube, and get on Facebook. Every time you make a new video, post it on Facebook, tweet about it.
Yeah, put it out there as much as possible. And Michael made a very good point of always including the link so people can find you. Because, you know, what's the point of having it all out there if someone can't reach out to you and be like, hey, you're a great filmmaker, I want to hire you. Or, you know, just, you know, reaching out to you. So it's really important about when you're distributing, about marketing yourself in a smart way.
Right. And one thing, too, that I do as a filmmaker and also that I do on behalf of Howcast is just see what work other people are making. So sort of explore the web and see what other people are doing and get to know them by commenting on their work. And then you sort of, you know, get a dialogue going with other filmmakers who are like you.
Building your community is really important.
Definitely.
Because there's definitely a filmmaking community out there. And I think when people communicate with each other and you never know like how you could all help each other out, just like you were saying with audio, you know, you find someone else out there who's great at audio and then you can partner up and do things together.
So we have a few last questions that I'd love to squeeze in. They're not really technical. They're more big picture questions, but I think they're really interesting. What do you guys think is more important to succeeding in filmmaking? Would you say that it's creativity or technical skill? Tough question.
That is tough.
Keith.
Well, I don't think I'm very creative. So I think it's...
I disagree.
For me, I think... I always think of, like, everything I do as being, like, technical. I think that's the way... Before 2 years ago, I was, like... I guess I still am kind of a scientist. You know, I studied biology, and I was working in a lab, doing genetics. And now I'm doing... And I've never taken, like, an art class, you know. So
Okay,
I always thought of it as like, you know, oh, you can read about how you like things, and I can look at something, how it's made, and I think of it in technical aspects of, oh, the light is hitting it this way. This is how you would set up the light to get that effect. Or, you know, if you want depth of field, this is how you can arrange your set to get better depth of field, or things like that. And then I have my girlfriend who's more creative, and she does all that.
Combo, yeah.
So it's true though. It's both, you know. I mean, I don't think it's just one. I mean, just like one person has to be really technical on the team, and one person has to be really creative.
And I think if you ask every filmmaker, they're going to say something different. So what would you guys say over here?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I would say it's always good. I mean, just like you said, Darlene, it's always great to have, I mean, somebody who can actually be really technical and, you know, help you out with everything. You can totally harness, you know, your creative control if you know even just a little bit about, you know, the technicalities of just how your camera works, different codecs and everything. But I mean, I guess I guess it really depends on how you want to succeed in filmmaking. I mean, if you want to make a lot of money, you know, working a job, then learn the technicalities, you'll get hired. I guess if you want to just kind of keep making things, but maybe not have much money, I mean, work on your creativity because it's fun. But yeah, a little bit of both.
No, I disagree. I think if you're looking to hire filmmakers and you want to spend money on it, you want people who are really creative. I mean, it's not just, it's really about both. I mean, you can't, neither one is going to make a great video, you know.
Yeah. Not really, alone. No.
Yeah, not alone. You need combo.
Although I would say too that technical things are you can learn, but creativity you can't.
It's kind
learn.
of innate.
So Keith, I think you might
That's
be
good.
wrong.
That's your girlfriend. If in doubt. Michael, what do you?
I don't know. So I'd like the viewers to tune into some of those math videos of yours and see if they think you're being creative. Let's see. There's another question I wanted you guys to try to squeeze in. Oh, okay. How do you guys go from taking your ideas that are, you know, sort of amorphous and out there to reality, to paper, to video, to a final product?
Yeah, I guess, I mean, like, I always just kind of like whatever it makes. I think everyone's completely different. Whatever makes sense for to get like inspiration going to where you can actually get your ideas down, then just do it. I mean, if it takes like putting on weird clothes and walking around a parking lot, you know, to like get ideas, like just do it. I mean, just
Not me, okay.
Just like or like even just like I have a typewriter that I write on that kind of helps me get out my ideas. There's something like melodic about writing on a typewriter that gets my ideas out. So it's really like whatever you like. I feel like it's like whatever you personally find that works to get things going.
Once you can visualize something, then you can put it into action.
Yeah.
So I think that's how we work. He visualizes, and then I start working with that. So
I watch a lot of movies. Like I watch so many movies, it's probably unhealthy. Because I feel like it really, I don't know, like I feel like when I watch a movie, I'm sitting in school almost, you know? And so I see all kinds of techniques that I'd like to try in my own stuff. Yeah, I don't know.
So you find inspiration from other people.
Yeah.
Which is very common.
Yeah.
You know, I wish I don't see that. I kind of have the suspension of disbelief when I'm just kind of a very passive viewer.
It's kind of hard. I mean,
you only notice the mistakes. At least I do.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. Like when I visualize something, like I actually have to like really like sit down and I type it out. I don't know why, like, because I am visual and I can draw, but I'm really good at just typing it out, just like a stream of consciousness sort of thing, and then I'll go back and analyze it and dissect it and think, well, now how can I make this?
I mean, it sounds like both of you again are saying like just have it really well planned out. You really got to think about it and write it out, and take some time in the pre-production. You can't just jump into it and make something amazing and creative. You just have to really kind of just work on it. You know what I mean? And really have it well planned out and thought out about what you want to do.
Sure.
All right, guys, I think we've got to wrap it up. I see that there's a few more questions coming in, and folks are asking how they can continue to ask questions. I just want to say go to the Howcast Emerging Filmmakers YouTube fan page, and we can all continue this conversation there. I'm sure these guys would be willing to answer your questions if you post them on the wall.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Please check us
thank
out
you.
on YouTube.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you'll be able to see more work from these guys. And if you're interested in making videos for Howcast, absolutely check out our Emerging Filmmakers program. We'd love to work with you.
Yeah, we're always looking for filmmakers. Come join our team.
Thanks.
Bye.